Good evening, everyone. Good morning. It could be good afternoon whenever you are watching this. I am Dr. Stephanie Jackson, and I am a creative chiropractor, a master educator, and a health and wellness advocate. Welcome to our sofa chat. On tonight, this is part two of our discussion on answering the call to our inner child. We have our great brother Hatim, who is here. He is controlling all of the ones and twos. He is our technical guy. He's our muse, our brain behind this operation. I'm just here. But we are glad that you are joining us tonight. And so tonight we're going to, again, as I mentioned, continue our conversation on the inner child, answering the call to the inner child. So we're going to do just a little review of what we talked about on last week, to catch you up to what it was that we talked about last week. And the first question is, what is your inner child? Brother Hatim.
Why are you gonna throw me on? All right.
I know.
What is the inner child? The inner child is that part of us that remains a child after we transition into adulthood. I would say, it's still there. It still needs care. It still needs love. Um, but it's the part of us that we think no longer exists, but it's throwing tantrums and maybe sometime fucking up our lives.
Right. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I mean, I couldn't have said it any better than what Brother Hatem said as far as what our inner child is. Our inner child can recall the good times that we've had when we were a child and throughout our lives. Our inner child, as Brother Hatem mentioned, is with us forever. It's always with us and it never forgets, right? So it remembers the good times, it remembers the bad times. And sometimes it comes out screaming for us to address whatever the issues were. If there were good times, the inner child might want us to revisit that, might want us to repeat those. If it were not so good times, the inner child might want us to, hey, let's take time out, right? Time out. Let's work on this right here. It can recall our fears, our traumas, and our neglects. And again, it's a part of us that wants to feel calm and understood and wants to have the warm fuzzies, but it also feels betrayed sometimes. Now, I was doing a little research for tonight's activity, and it sounds like when we do our inner work, our shadow work is very much like us addressing the inner child. Well, what are your thoughts about that as far as shadow work? What do you know about the shadow work, Brother Hatim? Is it the same, or are there two different things?
Well, I would have to say because a lot of times when we dealing with uh, how things is given to us in the Western world, we segment things
Uh-huh.
and put them in groups and when it's all interdependent, when it all works together, so it works together, right?
Uh-huh.
But the when you do shadow work is more dealing with less of the inner child and dealing with those what we would consider negative and antisocial aspects of ourselves that are not necessarily connected to the inner child, but are connected to the inner child. It's that
Right.
it's that part of ourselves that doesn't fit into society, the wild man, the wild woman that we try to hide. But
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of creative power that comes from that, and we need to learn how to harness all aspects of ourselves, I believe.
Absolutely, absolutely. And to me, it sounded like, as I was doing my very brief kind of scathing over, it sounded like they were kind of the same, uh, give or take a little bit. Um, but tonight we're going to talk about the inner child. We're going to do an activity once the rest of the game gets here. We're going to do an activity, our mirror work, where we're going to speak into the mirror as if we were talking to ourselves, which we really are. And we're going to use affirmations. But let me tell you what I learned in my research, that we can say all of the positive affirmations, we could say all of those things, but if deep down inside within our subconscious, if deep down inside, we don't believe them. It's like, say, pouring water on a duck's back. It is going to roll off of us. We can say the most deep and in-depth things, but if we don't believe them to be true, then we are wasting our time. Brother Hudson, what is your take on that?
I mean, that's very true. That's one of the reasons. Like when you're doing your like a lot of people do the boards and do the affirmations, you got to have the emotional content in it, and you have to exercise the principle of Imani. You got to have belief and a deep knowing beyond belief. You got to have a deep knowing that what you're saying is reality or going to be reality. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So you ain't tell me I had something on my forehead. Go
Look,
ahead.
I just put my glasses on, bro. I didn't see that. I didn't see
Right.
that. Oh, well, question, Brother Hatem. Is it important, do you think, for the adult self and the inner child to meet?
Hell
The
yeah.
adult self being who we are at present.
Yeah, see, because now your adult self, what your adult self, what you had an opportunity to do is once you recognize that the inner child is something that's there, you have an opportunity to extend the protection, the love, and the attention that your child was seeking from other adults. In many ways, many of us are treating our inner child in a way, in the same way that we felt that we was treated when we was young. I mean, if we was loved children, more than likely we loving on ourselves, you know what I'm saying? But if we was sort of neglected, we might be neglecting that child. You know what I'm saying? We might be abusing it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's different ways we can abuse ourselves. So, you know what I'm saying? As adults, once we recognize that there's a need there, we could go on and we could start dealing with that need and start filling the holes that's there for the inner child. That's that spiritual work that we got to do. That, you know, in Gye-Nyame, we talk about the 5 parts of being: the intuition, mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. You got work to do on all 5 of those levels. And this type of work give you an opportunity to reflect back on what you need, and then you can start providing that for yourself. You can start doing the work for yourself. So yeah, you can go back.
And very similar to when we first began our sofa chats, very similar to when we were talking about the what was that?
That's my ambrosia. That's the old strong ambrosia. You know,
The kind of put hair on your chest.
Yeah.
And make you muscly.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, I'm coming off my fast, so I am hyped. Go ahead.
Right. So, but to be when we first began doing our sofa chats, you remember we were talking about the wheel of life and how there were several aspects of it, not as deep or in depth as the 5 principles that you were just speaking of, but it was the aspects of our life, our daily life. So it was the social piece, it was the emotional piece, it was the financial piece, it was the spiritual piece, it was the sexual piece, it was family, it was finances, it was all of those pieces. And if we don't spend the time addressing those areas in an appropriate way, then our will, so to speak, because it was a will, our will would be out of balance, right?
Yep.
Right. So on last week, we did some storytelling. Well, some of us began to share some of our personal stories. And I remember what you said as far as storytelling, beginning with our inner dialogue was our first form of technology. Us and storytellers are considered what, griots?
Yeah, that's the French word for them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, the best way we could describe them is possibly storytellers. You know what I'm saying? Griots, jollies, but in each family, and each of us have to be our own storyteller. You know what I'm saying? But for the village and the tribe, there was one person, but we all have stories to tell. You know what I'm saying? And it's a very valuable skill. Businesses are built up on stories. Microsoft started off as a story. Google started off as a story. You know what I'm saying? Huh?
How so? Like,
all right, I think about, all right, let's say Google. What was the idea behind Google was to become the place where all of human information was stored. That's a story. You know what I'm saying? And he had to get people to believe in that story enough to sit up in there and work to a point to where they are now. Same thing with Microsoft. We wanted everybody to be able to have a computer in their home. That started off as a story. That ain't, you know what I'm saying? A story that became reality. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at successful businesses, you're looking at people who were able to tell themselves a story and work to make their story a reality.
And then convince other people to buy into that story.
Isn't that belief? Isn't that how we become adults? We tell a story about ourselves and we share and weave a story about ourselves and we get people to start believing the story about ourselves.
Wow, that is like deep, for real. That is how we become adults.
That's how we become adults. We got to be able to tell our narrative. We got to share our narrative. We got to, you know what I'm saying? What is a resume? Isn't a resume a story of the adventures that you went to in the past?
Absolutely. So then that's making me think, okay, so what happens when we don't tell our story? I know that there's a proverb, you would be better at it than I am, about telling a story. I don't know. I don't know the proverb, but I know that it is about, was it a lion or?
Oh, the victor tell, if lions told, that's actually not a proverb. That's from a folktale. That's from an Aesop folktale. A man and a lion were having a discussion, and the man, and they saw a statue with a man destroying a lion, and the lion somehow in the end the lion says, as long as men are telling the story, they're going to be victorious. The person that tells the victor always tells the story. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what we're suffering from right now, because the victors of this point in time in history is telling the stories. And we're sitting on the side, many of us are sitting on the sidelines silent. And we're allowing people to erect stories about us. I mean, because really, when it comes to like the self-mastery system with Gye-Nyame, one of the major pieces is you have to take command of your story, of your personal story. You have to take command of. You got to take command of your family story. We got to take control of our tribal and cultural story, because if we don't do that, we become victims. You understand what I'm saying? We become victims, and other people start to tell our tale. And what starts to happen is, like, for example, you can see this with our people. We start acting out the beliefs of other people from the stories that they done told us, that we start believing about ourselves.
Right.
You know.
And it changes. So it's not enough to say we have to do this, right? How do we do it? Are there steps that we could take to harness back or to take back our power in storytelling? Are there any steps?
All right, so now go ahead.
No, how do we begin to take back our power, to feel I guess inspired enough to feel the
I'm back.
I think we froze. I was gonna say, it looked like we froze for a split.
Yeah, it says my internet is Oh, we still live, but hold on. I had to refresh. Never happened before like that. But hey, that's life. All right. Now we're back. Sorry about that, folks. Hope it ain't caused no problems.
Right.
But hey, we back. And I'm wondering, because we ain't getting nobody. Did you get any text?
I did not. Well, I did get a text from Spence, and he said that he was coming.
All right, I'm just trying to make sure the line ain't down. Is it a football game on or something? It says, what's cooking? No sound. Ashe. Facebook. What's cooking? No sound. Ashe. That was 1918. What time is it? Yeah, now we back. Can y'all let me type it in. Can you hear now? Make sure, because we got people out there.
Oh, I hear you.
Okay, cool. All right, we got 4 people online. All right, fam. Y'all can come on in. Now let me I'm gonna throw up the picture for a second, the overlay for a second, Miss Dr. Jack, so that we can make sure we get some other people in. Anybody that want to join us, here you go right here. Wow. Come in. We got meeting ID on Zoom is 878-7266-8482. Passcode SofaChat23. Come on in and join the conversation. Let's get this thing popping off the way it should be. All right, because this is a very important piece. We're talking about healing that inner child and other things.
Absolutely. So I think where we left off, before we had a few little technical difficulties, where we left off was you emphasized how important it is for us to tell our story, right?
Right. See, and connecting it back to the child piece, right?
Connecting it back to the child piece, and then I asked you, because it's not enough to say we gotta do it. Because there are a lot of things that we gotta do, but we need to know the steps. And if they could be simple, like what would be a step for us to feel motivated or feel inspired to tell our story? Like,
well,
how do we get started?
How about moving to thriving rather than just surviving? See, wow. when other people are in control of your story, they will only tell a story in a way that will allow you to survive and not to thrive. People that thrive are telling their story. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to thrive, that should be enough motivation for you to start telling your own story. You know what I'm saying? To start building your narrative and start living it. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? So, but I'll leave it at that. I'll stop right there.
Well, you don't have to stop. But as you are replenishing yourself with your ambrosia, let's talk about
this ambrosia water now. But go ahead.
Oh, it's ambrosia water?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we don't have anybody else to tell their story here right now other than you and me. Last week, I opened up and shared a story, and I think you might have shared a little piece of a story last week. Oh, you did it? Well, no better time than the present, brother.
I ain't sharing no stories.
What?
I ain't. Hey.
You just y'all. Didn't he just get finished telling us that in order for us to thrive and not just survive,
I ain't said how you had to tell it on the internet. You ain't got to post it up. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about where is it appropriate to tell your story. Now, we can do it like this. We can do it in groups, right?
Yeah.
But the first place to start is, in a sense, with your little exercise that you got popping off, right?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? In the mirror, right? You know what I'm saying? What is the story of your life? Now, in the Gye-Nyame, in the Warrior's Handbook, I got Miss Kim is here. In the Warrior Handbook.
Hey,
how you doing?
Sorry I was late. I'm good.
You right on time.
Yeah.
Man, it's good to hear your voice, man. And you know what? You know why I ain't recognize you, Miss Kim, when you was on last week? Because you remember, you did a lot of the show from Wazadugu. So
yes.
I didn't get to see you all the time.
Yeah,
because the signal was bad. And then when you came over here, you had to hit the ground running. So we ain't, you know what I'm saying? But hey, what I want to ask you about before we get further in this, her husband owns a winery.
Yes.
I want to get some wine here. I want to get some wine here.
Okay, I can get that done.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Now, Ann is in, if I'm correct, Senegal, right?
Yeah, it's in Senegal. Yep.
Nice.
So, I'm gonna get on with my iPad as well. I'm on my phone now.
Okay. How your daughter doing? Is she in the States?
Yep. Sue was with me. She was helping me work in the garden. She's good. She's in college. And she's doing real good. Thanks for asking.
So back to what Dr. Jacks, I got what I call what's your story sheet. And it's write out your story as it is now. A, the beginning. B, where are you now and how you got here. C, if you stay in this story, where will it end? And then we got the story sheet part 2. Write about your story, how you want it to be, the beginning, where you are now and how you got here, and how will the story end. So 1, you're going to write where it is and how you feel about it now. And then the second one, you write about where you want it to be. So you don't have to, in a sense, publicize this type of story. You understand what I'm saying? This is a personal work. All right? You know what I'm saying? This requires a lot of personal reflection. And then from that, you can start building or adding to the story that you share with the world. Right? Using the energy from what you call the inner child as well as the shadow to fuel the best you possible. Because once you work through your traumas, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be very few things out there in the outside world that's going to be able to really
affect you or impact you.
Right.
Or
right. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Because once you start working through your own trauma, you're going to see that a lot of the stuff that's happening in what we call the adult world or the business world in some form of fashion has already happened to you in your life. And when and really don't even measure up. You understand what I'm saying? Because business is ruthless, but some of our parents and some of the people we grew up with was even more ruthless than business.
Come on. Absolutely. And I think just to carry that statement on even further, sometimes we may have the knowledge. Oh, look at the little one. Hi, Tim's nephew. What's his name?
His name is Nunana. He can't hear. Nunana.
Okay, because you got the.
Yeah, he can't hear. We do it right around here. Ain't no feedback on our mic here. What's wrong with you, boy?
Oh.
What does Nunana mean?
His mom told me. I forgot. I just like how it sounds. Nunana. That's dope. But it's nice dude. So, but so I'm trying not to harm his child, so you don't have to have all the trauma that I had.
And that's very considerate. That's very considerate. Sister Kim, I know before the baby popped on, there was something that I said. I cannot remember it just that fast because I was taken away by the little baby. But so Sister Kim, I wanted to share with you that because I thought about you when I was doing this research here. So what it was saying was, and I hope you brought your mirror, because on last week we said that this week we're going to do some mirror work where we're going to speak affirmations into the mirror. Mm-hmm. So I was doing a little research, and what it said was that if we aren't, to paraphrase, if we aren't ready to receive, if we don't believe the affirmations that we're saying, it could be, we could say it countless times over and over again, but if we don't believe it, then it won't land with us, and it won't be purposeful. It will be just a waste. And so I have 50 affirmations. We're not going to be able to go through just 50.
Good God Almighty. 50?
I know. So we're just really going to work on 5 tonight, right? And then at some point later, if we want, we could, look at the other ones. But what it said was, we'll read an affirmation and then we'll stop. And after we read the affirmation, we can discuss, how does that land with us? Is that something that we could believe for ourselves? Is it something that may be outrageous? And if it doesn't land with us, let's talk about it. So that maybe it could resonate with us a little bit better. And I think that would be the best way, other than saying, oh, I'm such a successful person. Well, the world may be telling somebody, you're not successful. You're not a billionaire. So you're not successful. We'd have to define for ourselves then, Kuju Chagalia. There you go. What is success? So let's look at the first positive self-affirmation. Do you guys have your mirror? All right.
I have one here.
Yes.
I'm in my bedroom, so.
And it doesn't have to necessarily be a physical mirror. It could be just, So, the first one says, I am confident. So we can look in our mirror. And this is for those of us who aren't here with us tonight. If you will gather a mirror, it could be the mirror in your bathroom, or it could be a handheld mirror, whatever the case may be. Look in the mirror and then say to yourself, because our self likes to hear our own voice. Our self likes to hear our own voice because it's us. It resonates through our lungs, it resonates through our vocal cords, etc. And so the first positive self-affirmation would be, I am successful.
I thought it was, I am confident.
Did we say I am confident? Did I say that?
Yeah, you said confident.
I mixed up on the affirmations. The affirmation is unaffirmed.
Listen, I'm sorry. My eyes are seeing one thing and my mouth is seeing something else. So we'll go back to I am confident. Okay. And let's say that together.
I am confident.
I
am confident.
I am confident.
I am confident. How does that feel coming out of your vocal cords? How does that feel? Does it feel like it's true?
Yeah, for me. But
yeah, it does. It feels good for me. But I have a short story, if y'all don't mind.
Please. We talk about stories.
I am confident. My mother encouraged me to do a lot of different things, and there was a open cast call for a musical for the Sound of Music, and it was going to be in Chicago. And my mother was like, I was like, oh, I would love to do it. She was like, you can do it. So I was like, I looked at the different songs from the Sound of Music. I was about 11 or 12. And one of the songs I chose was I Am Confident. And so I practiced that song. We had some furniture that was like I made it into like a little sound studio. It was small and I just kind of got into it and sang. So I sound amazing in that.
Yes, yes.
But because of just practicing the song over and over again, of course, I didn't make it or anything like that. I don't even think I made it into a semifinals or nothing. But the process of singing that song, I Am Confident, it helped me out so much. And I think that's why she wanted me to do it. She made me feel I could really do it, even though she probably knew I really couldn't sing. But it made me feel like I was confident. Oh. So I just want to share, whenever I hear I Am Confident, I always think about that.
Brother Hatem, there's some feedback.
Yeah, there's a feedback.
Oh no, we can. Yes, we heard the feedback.
Okay, that's my fault. I was checking them. I was checking to make sure that the show was going.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So,
thank you.
Is there still some feedback?
No.
All right.
No.
So
Kim,
thank you for the story.
I was gonna say thank you for the story, and that brings me to a story from my daughter. My daughter, I'm like your mom. I'm always pushing her. When they were little, I would push her to do anything. Like, you could do it. Like, if y'all remember, if y'all remember, what was that show in Living Color, Little Magic? I'm like, you could do a little magic. You could do a little magic. Come on. And one time, and oh my gosh, she's upstairs. Bless her heart. I mean, she didn't stop. So one time she wanted to try out for American Idol. We lived in South Carolina, like the northern part of South Carolina. We drove all the way down to Charleston, and it was a 2-day event. We stood in line one day, and everybody's out here singing and dancing, and they're ready to, And so I can't remember what song she sang, but she tried out for American Idol. She did not make it to the second round. So, I'm here trying to make her feel better. We're outside and she's crying like, I can't believe I didn't make it. I can't believe I didn't make it. And all of us, and I mean, these is like big crocodile tears. And all of a sudden this cameraman walks by and he takes his camera and put it in her face. She says, oh, I mean, she changed up really fast now in front of me. Here she is like bawling. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to have to do? Am I going to have to, what do I have to do? The cameraman comes and says, so young lady, how was it? She wiped her face. She was like, it was just such an amazing experience. I was like, oh my gosh. But I mean, and she's very confident. Like, she'll take a minute to cry, at least to me. Like Brother Hatem said, sometimes we don't want to share our stories with the world. We want to kind of keep it personal. But, I'm always, here now, you could do it. You could do it, honey. You could do it. And then, she's back at me like, Mom, you could do it. You could do it. And neither one of us probably need to be doing anything. But as long as we got each other pushing each other, like, yeah, girl, you can do it. Yeah, girl, you can do a high five. Brother Hatem, we just had a little girl talk here. Please jump in and tell us what you think about the I am confident statement, at least.
It feels good now, but I can imagine a time in my life where it would have been difficult saying that. Especially in a situation like this, where possibly thousands of people might be able to see this one day. But it felt good now. But this is years and years of practice. This stuff, for those out there that's like, this stuff works. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been doing affirmations and doing stuff for a very long time. So yeah, it felt natural. It felt good. It felt good. You have now. While I was in the midst of my fast, the second week with just water, and then in the midst of that week, I did 3 days with absolutely dry.
Wow.
I looked in the mirror and realized I hadn't really looked at myself in a very long time. As you know what I'm saying, I'm like, brushing my teeth and all that, right. But actually sitting there and looking at myself. I have never. Oh my God. All right. Let me get this. All right. Hello. I'm sorry.
Oh, you got a phone call.
Okay.
Hello.
So let's see.
I'm gonna try to silence the mic. Hold on.
Oh yeah, he had to mute himself.
Yes. So he's gonna come back and share with us. Let's move to another one. All
okay.
Right? Let's move to another one. So the next one says, since I flubbed up the first one, this next one says, I am powerful.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Let me look in the mirror again.
Yeah.
I am powerful.
Okay. I am powerful. I am powerful. I am powerful. I am powerful. How does that feel? How did it feel for you?
It takes some convincing because I don't always feel powerful. I have people telling me I'm powerful, and I'm like, how am I powerful? And but I don't always feel it. But I understand that power is within and also is relative, so to your environment. You know, you're not the president of the United States, so you're not powerful in that sense. So I understand that. So, but it's just something that I think personally I have to grapple with that. That's something that I kind of struggle with, realizing my power.
And I wonder, Sister Kim, I wonder if I can imagine that that's true for so many of us who are actually really powerful people. If people were to look at our, on paper, to look at our resume, to look at what we have accomplished, they'd be like, wow, she's everything. But, to us and ourselves, I guess, like you said, is relative. So we're comparing ourselves to, would you say that it is a comparison to someone else, or
maybe
something?
It's like you feel like power needs to be like what we see as power, like Joe Biden type power, or CEO power.
Right.
We always kind of think that's power, but actually power is relative. You have power within your family. You have power within things you do outside your family and things like that, or in your community. You have power. So I do know I have power, but I don't always accept the power. So I've always kind of struggled with that. I know I have.
So, since we have you and you have the mic, what if anything stops you? What stops you from accepting that you have power?
I think my perception of what power is, I always think of power as, people wanting to grab power, wanting to control others with power. And I'm not a controlling type person per se. Maybe some people could say I'm controlling. I don't know. I don't perceive myself as being controlling like that. So I think I have a negative perception of power. I have this dynamic of a negative perception of power, but understanding that there's power out there. So it's like an internal conflict with the whole power thing. That's sort of where I am.
I may not be using this term correctly. Have you heard of cognitive dissonance?
I have, but I don't understand it.
Right. So I may have it all wrong, but my understanding of cognitive dissonance is something that is present that we see, and we are, it may not make sense, but we are trying to make it make sense. And so we're convincing our mind that it does make sense. Maybe we could use some kind of way to rewire our brain and make our brains feel and believe what it is that we say. Because, and this is again just a thought, because if we can believe the negative for whatever reason, then surely we can believe the positive. And maybe what we need to do is say those things that we aren't fully convinced of. Maybe what we need to do is to say those things more. So if I'm not fully convinced that I am a badass, then I probably need to look in this mirror and be like, girl, you is bad. Like, say it over and over again. I don't know. But, or to say, I am powerful until we can convince ourselves that we believe it. Tell me what you think. Anybody. Sister Kim, what are your thoughts?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think that you're right. You have to tell yourself that you do have power, and power is not negative. Power can be positive. It's how you use it. You can use it in negative ways. You can use it in positive ways. But I think I agree. You can do that. Getting the baby. So yeah, I'm gonna try that.
I mean, because nothing beats a failure but a try. That's the old phrase that I heard. Nothing beats failure but a try. So at least we could try it and then see how that works. Brother Hatem, we're going to go to you. But before we do, we just want to say hello to Mother Margarita. Hi, Mother. Hello.
Oh, so you going to click on us? She clicked on us.
She said she's probably trying to figure it out. And she hit the wrong thing.
She said Ashe. and then we have Dr. Karen say, hey, Doc.
Hi, hello. How is everyone?
We are glad to have you.
Thank you again. Sorry, my show was today, and then we did it out at the museum because it's Derby weekend. So
I saw the pictures. Yeah. We're glad that you made it. We have Brother Spence. Brother Spence, hey.
Hey, what's going on? Good people, how y'all doing?
Hey. So to catch you all up to speed, Brother Hatem is gonna no, he's not. Okay. All right. Okay, but I'm always throwing him like Brother Hatem right in the middle, right in mid swallow. I'm like, Brother Hatem said he's gonna do. He's like, wait a minute, let me swallow first. But on last week, for those of us who were here, we said that we were going to do a mirror talk activity. So hopefully you all have your mirrors. We have started already. I have done some research because I thought it would be just simple to grab a mirror and be like, you are nice.
Fantastic.
You are nice or you are fantastic. But what the research shows is that it doesn't matter how many times we say these positive affirmations, if we don't believe them some kind of way within us, then we're just saying it over and over again. And so the next thing that I thought of that we could do is, instead of reading this list of 50 affirmations and just going through the list, we could start with just 5 and we could, recite these affirmations in the mirror, but stop at the affirmation. We say one, we stop at it, and we talk about it and see how it lands with us, see how it feels for us. Does it make sense, right? And so we've done 2 so far. The first one was I am confident, and the second one was I am powerful. And we just took a little time out to talk about that. Like, how do we feel when those words resonate through our lungs and our vocal cords?
There you go.
How does that feel, Brother Hatem?
Now the I am powerful one. Like I'm with Sister Kim on the double-edged sword of power, because there's a piece there. But I don't mind saying that I am powerful one. Like I said, once again. But this is years and years of practice, because I can remember a time where I would have been very uncomfortable looking at myself, declaring my power. I was tamed and taught to a certain level that power was negative and I should never aspire to it. As a matter of fact, here's a story. I wasn't going to share. I went to a little church called the Beulah Baptist Church in Akron, Ohio. And all churches, I ain't going to say all churches, but they used to have, back in the day, I don't know if they still have them, they had special chairs for the pastor, and it was always 3 big chairs. You had the big one in the middle that was taller, and you had the 2 smaller ones. So we was at choir practice one day, and I went and I sat in the pastor's chair.
What?
Oh, no, he didn't.
Oh,
Hey. But hey, you know.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
I'm the, listen, I didn't get in trouble. I sat in the pastor's chair, and it felt good. Ooh. And I asked the pastor's wife, because she was sitting there, I said, is it a sin to want to run the world? A power question. And she said, yes, I think it would be a sin to want to run the world. And I thought in my mind, I said, well, damn, I guess I'm going to be a sinner the rest of my life, because that's a sin.
Call me a sinner.
Well, yeah. If that's wrong, I don't want to be right.
I don't want to be right.
You know what I'm saying? But once again, that was a story that I had to wrestle with, because there was a guilt that was put on me about wanting to be in a position of power, in a place, in an institution that was supposed to be guiding my soul to a forever place. But I'm being taught as a kid that it's wrong to want to have power. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so it took me a long time to reconcile that. You know what I'm saying? But I did. You know what I'm saying? Because but that's me. That's one of my stories. But
can I ask a question of you guys? Because this is something I've observed, and I don't know if it's accurate. I feel like the conflict with power is a African American thing, because I noticed, like, when I was growing up and you'd be around white people, especially white boys, they didn't have a problem with aspiring to be powerful. Like, when I would talk to them, I remember some of my conversations with, little white kids, and they would say, oh, I want to grow up, I want to be the CEO, or I want to be the president of the United States. And they would be saying that kind of stuff when they was like 10, 11, and 12. And I was like, really? That's what you want to do? Wow. It was just blowing my mind. And then when I was a Peace Corps in Sierra Leone way back in the 80s, before Peace Corps had before Sierra Leone had the revolution and all this happened after that. And every young man I met, I'm going to be the president of this country. I'm going to run this country. You see these roads, I'm going to fix this, I'm going to fix that. And from all these places I've been, like I lived in Asia, I lived in Africa, and young people, especially young men or young women who have access to good education, they don't have a problem saying they want to be powerful. But it seems like with us, it's not like that. No matter our education, no matter our economics, like we have. So I don't know, I'm asking,
You answered your
what
own
is it?
question.
Well,
You
absolutely,
answered the question.
absolutely. And I want to.
You answered it.
We weren't brought here to learn systems of power. We weren't brought here to help run this country. We were brought here to build the houses, cook the food, and carry the bags of those who were. So, it was never that was an information set that was never really intended for us. And you're absolutely right. The rich, the wealthy, the better off, the business owners, they teach their kids. They have no problem teaching them about that. From my experience, to answer the question, I grew up in a crack neighborhood that had gangs in it, and that was my first kind of understanding of the concept. Okay, these guys right here could do stuff, but this one person over here calling the shots could tell them what to do. That's kind of what I saw in action around me. Even when I was getting jumped by the gangs because I wouldn't jump in, that's actually one of the ways I learned how to fight, was fighting them off. And that went on for years, y'all, until one day an old head rolled up on the brothers trying to jump me because of that thing. He just rolled down, he looked out the window, he said, man, Spencer's mama whoop his ass, leave him alone. And y'all, just like that, one sentence out of passenger side window from the driver's side of a dude that happened to be driving, who happened to see what's going on. He said, y'all stop. And these are some street hoods. One word from him, and that was it.
Wow.
I never got jumped again. And that really drove it home. I remember thinking, well, I knew who he was, but I remember thinking, what did he do? What happened? How did he prove himself? What happened where that he is carrying that much weight such that these guys who've been jumping me, bullying me for years and I mean, y'all, they stopped on the dime. It was mid-fight. He spoke and they stopped. And they had to hear what he had to say. He said it and they let me go. And I got up and I walked, and that was it. And that was power to me. Mm-hmm. I was like, wow, he didn't raise his voice. He didn't come snatch anybody up. He just kind of gave him hey, y'all stop that, and that was it. So that was my first concept of power. And my understanding of it was someone who can make things happen or not, per their discretion. Then he didn't have to ask nobody. He didn't have to call nobody. He said it. And that was it. And I've seen something similar play out with men and women throughout the military, throughout business and stuff like that. So that, a lot of people who run their mouth, but they don't really have any decision-making power. It's who can actually make the decision and then something happens. Who can say something and people will stop to hear what they have to say. That's my add-in.
Well, and that's okay. So Brother Spence and Dr. K, I would like to find out if you both have mirrors, or it could be something imaginary. It could be your phone or whatever.
It could be your phone. Yeah,
it
the phone is a new mirror. Phone,
because it's a reflection. If you will, because we can revisit that statement again, and how does it sound coming from you? Now, just before we do that, while you guys are gathering your mirrors or your phones or whatever, Sister Kim asked the question. She said, about power. Is it, how does it land with us as African Americans as opposed to other people or whatever? How many of you have this book or have seen this book here? Oh yeah, Sister Kim, do you have this book?
No, I never.
Have you heard of it?
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah. It's called The 48 Laws of Power, and I think Brother Hatem told me about this years ago. The author is Robert Greene. He's written this other book here. He has like 5 or 6
Art of
books
Seduction. What the hell you got going on over here, Dr. Jax? What's going on?
It is an art, Hatem. It's an art, man, and you have to work on your artistry for life.
I'm just saying. I didn't know. I did not know. Well, damn.
Okay, so that's
you got the other
Thursday
book.
Night. That's a Thursday night conversation, Brother Spence. We got to do sofa chat on Thursday night. All of us who are interested in this one right here, and this one as well. We'll have to create another day offline to talk about that. Okay, so let's all get in our mirror. Sister Kim, do you mind doing this activity again?
Oh, sure.
Okay, the same statement. It may land different with you this time, right after our discussion. All right, so if you will gather yourself in front of the mirror, And then after this, Dr. K, I want you to tell us what you think. Okay, so if you gather yourself in front of the mirror and you look real pretty, sit up nice and straight, posture all.
If you need Is it okay if it's on the wall?
It's okay, it's on the walls. It's okay, it's on the wall, Sarah. But then take a nice deep breath in, inhale goodness, exhale any type of negativity or confusion. And then say to yourself in the mirror, I am powerful.
I am powerful.
Let's say that again. I am powerful.
I am powerful.
Hell.
And then one more time. With gusto, with meaning. I am powerful.
I am powerful.
Yo, how did that feel? Sister Kim, did it feel different this time? Felt the same or?
It felt totally different. I didn't feel conflicted.
And would you say you didn't feel conflicted because I don't want to put words in your mouth?
Because I felt like saying it again, doing the breathing and the exhaling, it kind of, when you exhale, it kind of got rid of some of that negativity. So it was like, negative go, I am powerful. So I felt like that really made a difference.
Brother Hatim.
Also, you got to throw in the tribe or the group dynamic into that. The discussion and the tribe and the group dynamic. You know what I'm saying?
So
because, you know what I'm saying?
And the posture.
Right.
The posture, have you heard of that? Because to you, sister, the superwoman stance. And
yes.
It's where you stand and you have to think of yourself as that little kid. You know, that little 5-year-old that can do anything in the world. And you have to stand with your hands on your hips. And you're standing up straight, and you felt it, like Sarah was telling you to breathe in and breathe out. Well, it's about your posture. When you're standing up like that, it's and I don't want to say it's ego, because that's not it. It's all scientific. You are breathing in and breathing out, and you're allowing oxygen to move through your body and elevate through your brain and through your blood system. And you're saying these things to yourself, and your body is open to receive it. And you say it, I am powerful, and you are elongating everything about you, and you are exerting yourself in all of it through you, throughout your body and throughout your stance. And you say it and you start to feel it. You think of yourself as that little boy that's there with that sheet around his neck.
Yep. You know it. You know it.
With his little superhero outfit on, or you a Wonder Woman. You know, I think we all know that's actually where that came from. What they're all talking about. And you believe it and make it so.
Right. Believe it and make it so.
And when you finish, as they always say, it's I say, Ashe.
One of my favorite movies is Enter the Dragon. And at the beginning
I watched that with my dad. Oh God, don't get me started.
At the beginning of Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee was doing a lesson. He was doing a lesson with a young boy. And he was teaching the young boy about a sidekick. And the little boy threw the sidekick, and Bruce Lee popped him on the head. And he gave him a lesson about the sidekick. And he said, when you do it, you must do it. And Bruce Lee said like this, emotional content. When we say these, like she said, with the stance and the attitude, you got to do it with emotional content. This is what pushes it over. This is what pushes it over the edge, because those emotions added on to the affirmations is what gives it power. Emotion, energy and motion. So when we throw the emotions on it, we get past the conflict and we feel good about saying it. And when we say it, it makes us feel good. It makes us want to say it again. And it helps push us through to be able to actualize what we're saying and push that belief that you was talking about, Dr. J.
Hey, Ashe. Brother Spence, did you have something to say as far as how you felt about it? Because I
think Dr. K and Hatim just really knocked it out the park. But I wanted to go ahead and testify if I could.
Please.
Just go ahead and give y'all a testament. So right now, I'm in my home in D.C.
Okay.
And yes, this is right now. Y'all are looking at Northwest D.C. So Georgetown is right there. If you can see my finger, Georgetown is right here. So when I first got this place, but to make the long one go away, y'all, let me just be honest with y'all. I had this home probably for about a half a decade before I really believed I deserved it.
Man, dude, oh my god, oh my god.
You know what I'm saying? So, and when I got here this time, and I walked in, I just praised all the creators that this was one of the first times that I was able to walk into my space and enjoy accomplishments, enjoy life, and saying, you know what? This is fitting for you. You do deserve this view. You do deserve this. I mean, and it's, I'm not like, Mr. Drummond on different strokes, but I do all right. I'm okay. But it took me a while to just really be okay with the niceness. And a lot of that, love my mom, but she was a teacher and she had a teacher's mentality. She had a teacher salary mentality. You can have like a little bit, but after that, it starts to get too much. After that, you start doing too much. You start putting on air. So I really felt guilty about doing well and about having nice things for a while. So today's sofa chat, and this what we're doing right here is so powerful for me because I just had that moment Friday night when I walked in here. I was like, whoa, this is the first time you walked into this place and felt like you deserved it, like you belong here, like you're supposed to be the person here. So I just wanted to share that with y'all because y'all are such a special group.
That is so powerful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. K.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, my phone is just yap. A lot of people mad today. It was show. I don't know if you posted it, but I made
you done lit the fire, Doc.
I talked about the Jordan Neely thing, and I put on there, what if Jordan Neely was a white woman? And they, oh my goodness. But yeah, so if you hear it going off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the video. I saw the video, but I didn't, because I was driving, so I couldn't get into it. But I plan on looking.
We'll talk about that later. Let's do sofa chat.
Yeah, okay. We talk about
that's the wine because I've been dealing with that too long. But
okay, yes, you and I. I'm loving these earrings, Sarah.
Oh, thank you.
Representing.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, so if you all are ready, to go into our next word of affirmation, our next positive affirmation here, our sentence. Our next sentence says, oh, this is a good one. It says, I am getting better and better every day. About that. I am getting better and better every day. So if you will, please get in front of your mirror, either your mirror, your handheld device, whatever the case may be. If it's up on the wall, like Sarah has hers up on the wall, whatever the case may be, if you will sit up nice and straight, erect your posture, taking a deep breath, and then let it out. And then look in the mirror and let's say this together. I am getting better and better.
I'm getting better and better every day.
Every day. Let's do it again. I
am getting better and better every day.
Every day.
All right, let's do it again.
I am getting
better
and better
every day.
Every day. How does that feel? Because better and better, it encompasses so much. It could be better and better in terms of our looks, in terms of our body, in terms of our finances. How did that feel? We could start with Dr. K. How did that feel?
It feels, for me,
yes.
Well, personal story, I have ADHD. I am one, have always been one. I do a million things all the time. and I have learned how to manage it. And that is how I have learned how to live. And I used to be at a point where I would have all of these little things going on, but nothing was to completion.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
Come on now.
always something going on. And I know you heard the term where you could be what is it? Skilled at a lot, but a master of none.
A jack of all trades.
I had a lot of that going on. And so even with school, and it skipped past me a lot because I was always smart. And so that is what people always, they thought that it was normal. So when I would pick up a book and I would just read right through it, and then pick up another and read right through it, then they would just think that, and then go outside and jump rope, and then want to come back in and play with the chemistry strip, do all kind of crazy stuff, like that. Then they would just, she's just so smart, she's so nervous. Oh, I was crazy. No, let me say that, because that's not, I know those I was just being funny, trying to lighten the mood. But I was all over the place. And so it might look nice on the outside, and it may, on the outside, it will look well accomplished. It will look very well accomplished. And so you're making all of these excellent strides. And so when I finished school, my bachelor's is in applied physics mathematics, and that is it's an engineering and computer science based mathematics. And so in Tuskegee, I came up during a time where Ford and NASA and all of that was throwing a lot of money into Tuskegee for engineers. Okay. So from 9th grade on, every summer, this group of us, we were in summer programs to be engineers. And so that's where that came from, long story short. So I went through that, went to grad school, did all of that teaching, all of that wonderful stuff. Got all of the accolades, but worked at NASA, worked at Ford, did everything I was supposed to do, looked good on paper. I was so unhappy. I was so unhappy because my life was not fulfilled. I'll skip through all of that other stuff, and that's how I got here. Once I got my life managed, and I got better at managing what was going on with me, and starting to, what made me feel better was closing out things and managing my life, and getting better at what made me happy, and got better at managing the chaos and managing the quiet.
Nice.
Got quiet within me because I was Chihuahua. Everything about me on the inside, because I was everywhere. And I do now. I still have a lot going on, but it's maintained now. It's different. It's not chaotic. Because it's always going to be there. I always have to have a lot of things going on. I don't have so much going on, and it's managed now, and I know how to close things out and either expand on what I already have, or I will add to it, or close that out and move to something else. I know how to manage, but more than that, I have peace. So I learned how to get better at being me. I learned how to be,
Dot, you
looking good at being good on paper, or what people thought that I should look like.
Dot, I think you hit it with when you talking about when you were a youngin' and your chemistry set, messing around and poking around, young scientist style. Anyone who's taken physics or chemistry and paid a little bit of attention knows that, stop it. When I worked with kids and people would be like, oh, I don't want to check my kid because I don't want to kill their joy. I don't want to clip their wings. I don't want to kill their power. And I would tell people all the time, in chemistry and physics, uncontrolled power is called an explosion.
It is.
Wow.
It's a
So
bomb. It's an
I'm writing
eruption.
it down.
it's right. Uncontrolled power is an explosion.
Mhm.
So you can go ahead and keep fueling this power if you want to, but understand that when this thing goes supernova, this was by design. This wasn't like some divine thing that we didn't see coming here. So I think the scientists in you kind of helped you bring the scientific method back to your balance. But that was a really inspiring story as I head to med school. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to say, Dr. Care say, Spence is going to medical school, so I'm sure he will be chewing your ear off, Brother
Absolutely.
Spence, to
Absolutely.
get some ideas and some
Okay.
support and some, resources, because I think this is a great space.
Okay.
Brother Spence, did you have something else to add about the affirmation of I am getting better and better every day? How that
Yes. That works. It saved me, and that touches my soul on so many levels as a student. It just kind of relaxes and takes the judgment off. What studying I didn't get done yesterday, that used to be like a whole 5 or 10 minute ass kicking fest in my head. As opposed to now I'm like, okay, you can't do a daggone thing about that. What we're gonna do today? Okay, so you didn't hit your 5-hour mark yesterday. Can you get 4.5? Can you get 4 hours, 15 minutes a day? Can you do something? Whatever you did yesterday, can you go 5 minutes past that? So that's always that's a marker for me. And coming into spaces like this where you're reclaiming your power. Sometimes I haven't even hit med school yet, and I'm having imposter syndrome sometimes. And I'm like, I'm better at this. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. And I forgot, one of the brothers was mentioning being in a room full of docs a couple of weeks ago. I'm getting better at walking into a room full of rich suits and knowing I'm supposed to be there. Even when they looking at me like, where's your tray? You know what I mean? And then clearly I'm not dressed like I'm supposed to serve there, but I have had that, what are you doing here, between my hair or whatever. I've had that look, and then I would be lying if I said sometimes it didn't affect me.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I know, and I know what I can do, but it's still, it's the thought is there. It's there. It flashes across the back of my head sometimes. So I'm getting better at being like, no, I belong here. No, I can study more than I did yesterday. I can get better at forgiving myself when I don't and when I fail. Now as a student who is studying and trying to remember a little bit more and more every day, that I can't tell you. This is like probably my most powerful self-chat.
Wow. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Sister Kim, how did it land with you? How did it resonate with you?
The better and better, I think that it's something that I've encountered as so many times in my life. Like when I was growing up, my mother would say, for us as African Americans, every generation we should do better. She instilled that in me. So I felt like, okay, I gotta do better than she did. I was like, okay, what is better? So she always instilled that in me. And then when I had my kids, my oldest, she played tennis. And I remember one of her tennis coaches saying, she's at the point where every time she steps on the court, she gets better. And so
Respect.
So I was like, okay, so it's not like, she's not a great player, but every time she steps on the court, she gets better. And then my kids also did Suzuki. Suzuki is like a method of learning music. So they did Suzuki violin and Suzuki flute. And, you work one-on-one with the teacher. And the teachers also say that, every song they get better. And so that whole getting better thing, I just encountered it at various times in my life. And so I think that that's something that, as it relates to my life, I'm comfortable with getting better at something. I don't have to be great as long as I'm getting better.
Yes.
And it doesn't really bother me as much So I like to kind of push myself. Like every year, I always try to do a project, you know. And so last year, my project was cycling. I wanted to cycle 100 miles, and so it was really hard because I'm not like a athlete. But I was like, I'm gonna do it. And every time I would practice, I got better. And so I was like, as long as I'm getting better, I'm okay. I don't win, I don't come in first, but I get better.
That's
So
right.
I'm okay with that getting better.
Good. Thank you for that. Thank
Okay.
you.
Dr. J, when she talked about being an athlete and getting better every day, one of my learning coaches actually told me, I love how she corrected my thinking with the stress. She said, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice predicts performance.
Whoa, I'm writing that down.
And she's like, so I was getting Doc, I was getting jammed up with the equations, with dimensional analysis, and just the shift and some of the conversion factors, which is locking me up. And she was like, when she was looking at my homework, I would get frustrated and stop. And she said, that's what you're practicing. You're practicing getting to a point of frustration, and you're stopping, and that's what your brain is doing on exams. So, and she's like, so you just need to practice relaxing through those moments of frustration and opening your brain back up, and then we're gonna see some improvement. But yeah, practice does not make perfect. It predicts performance.
Yep.
That's what I talked about with the issue that people have with the vision boards and manifesting. And because that's the bridge. That is the bridge. You practice for getting over the bridge. When you are running the marathon, you know that you have worked out. You know that you are physically capable of doing it. However, what happens when you pull a hamstring?
Right.
How are you going to react? Are you going to freak out and stop? Or is that rote memory going to kick in, and then you're going to go, hey, I've been here before. I know what I need to do. Or what happens when your shoelace breaks? Whatever the case may be, when you're running that marathon, anything can happen. And so those are the moments that you're planning for. You're planning for how do you get over that bridge, or those stumbling blocks that are in between knowing what you want and where you want to be. So that is exactly what I meant. That's what I was talking about.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Brother Hatem, how do you feel about the phrase, I am getting better and better every day? How did that resonate with you? Thumbs up.
Going through, because we having some more technical problems, so I'm getting better at doing this every day.
Okay, you're getting better and better every day.
Let me go on and get back on it, because something's afoot.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's important. I embrace the phrase, I am getting better and better every day. I work on that, and I'm very thankful that I am getting better and better every day. I'm like all of you, like I'm a combination of all of you. I'm a workaholic, a busy bee. I get kind of confused when it comes to certain things. I get frustrated with myself. But then I suppose maybe I'm just kind of getting into my age. I'm kind of just feeling comfortable in the age that I am, and realizing I don't have to do all of that. Like, that's just too much. Get somebody else to do it. Like, let me just be, let me just enjoy, let me do what I want to do. I've accomplished, but I haven't accomplished everything. I still have a whole bunch of things on my bucket list to do. I just check off when I check them off. But yeah, I'm getting better every day. And I feel good about that. Yeah. And so I know that our time might be up, and we may not be able to I know we're not going to get to the next 50, but that's something that we could talk about later.
50?
I just want, okay, yeah, it was 50, but
you said 5. You broke it down to 5.
Listen,
50?
it was a list of 50 to start with, bro.
We
And
were
now
not
we
going to
talking
get to
about
50
5.
anything. This
That's
group
what I'm
did
saying.
not
You
get
don't
to
never
50
come. You know,
anything.
how you gonna come here with 50?
I'll stick with however many super chats it takes. So let's get. I'm with you. Let's go. Let's go.
God,
Okay,
50.
okay.
God damn.
Oh, okay.
Lord.
Okay. But we may have time for one more tonight, but I wanted us to just think about, let us just kind of rest in this thought that all of us are better than we were when we were younger. How can we take this information that we have now, this confidence that we have, this getting better, how can we take it and translate it to our young people that are in our lives, whether it be our children, whether it be, grandchildren, neighbors, anybody that's younger than us? How can we make it better for them? How can we use this or these activities to make it better for them? Brother Hatem?
Demonstrate.
Okay.
Put it into practice. Our children learn by what we do. You know what I'm saying? They learn, they you know what I'm saying? And if they see the confidence in you, they're going to imitate that. I mean, if we look at a lot of things that a lot of us do. Matter of fact, let me say this. You know how I learned how to fight? I imitated Godzilla. Imitation. Godzilla was a hell of a hip tosser. I don't know if y'all noticed that. Godzilla could hip toss.
Not until you said it, but sure enough, he was.
He hip tossed him. I learned how to hip toss from Godzilla. I watched Bruce Lee movies and shit like that. So I learned by imitating. Even some of the phrases in how things would happen in conflict, I got from movies and watching TV. I imitated. You know what I'm saying? In classrooms, in dealing with people, I imitated my grandparents in, like, for example, in developing relationships, right? You know what I'm saying? We imitate. So when we practice, we demonstrate to our children what works, because they're gonna pick what works from us, right? You know what I'm saying? And just allow them to get it. They'll get it.
Very good. And that reminds me of, thank you for that, Brother Hatem. That reminds me of when my children were little. I just wanted to do things different. I wanted to do things way different than I knew, way different than was done for me. So what I would do with Naya is I would every single day until she got tired, and I didn't even care. She was about 6 or 7 by the time we stopped. But every day I would tell her to recite this. I am, how was it? I'm smart, I'm pretty, my mama loves me, my daddy loves me, and I love myself. Now today I know they have more advanced. This was almost 28 years ago, but this is what I would tell her every day. I would tell her to say, I'm a pretty brown princess. My mama is a queen and my daddy is a king. What was the other thing? I love myself. My mama loves me. My daddy loves me. My brother loves me. When Doobie came along, and I mean, I would just say this, have her say this every single solitary day. Now she thinks she's the queen, and who am I to argue with her? But and the same with my Doobie. When he came along, I would just recite this, and it might sound like mumbo jumbo, but I mean, if they can watch cartoons and be impressed by cartoons, if you can watch Godzilla and be impressed by Godzilla, why not be impressed by these words that that we recite? All right. And before we go, let's go over one more, you guys. Oops, wrong password. Okay, here we go. Okay, now, someone else said this before. The good brother Deion Sanders said it. But this one says,
I look good.
This one says, I wake up motivated. All right, so let's sit up nice and straight.
All right.
Deep breath. Ooh. Let's.
This one I ain't gonna sit up here and lie.
I heard to say, yeah.
I can't say this one. I ain't gonna wake up. I ain't gonna lie.
I work on that one. I do.
Yeah,
I have to do.
Is it a struggle?
I have to do the high five. I do. Some mornings I have to do the high five method.
What's that?
I have to make myself get up. And yeah.
Yeah. It's a struggle. So this means, like we said, Sister Kim, we were on the same page. We agree. We just repeat this, especially the ones that we have struggles with. We'll just repeat this until we believe it, right? Mm-hmm. So let's sit up nice and straight. Let's look in our mirror. Take a deep breath in and let it out and say, I wake up motivated.
I wake up
motivated.
Dr. K, I didn't hear you say,
I wake up motivated.
I wake up motivated.
Motivated.
I wake up motivated.
All right. Brother Spence, is that a tough one for you, or?
Nah, that's actually when I felt good to hear you say that, because I'm actually good at that now. Same thing. If you go to bed with that intention, this is a before you go to sleep intention too.
Okay.
Because a lot of times it's not even the getting up people dread, it's that feeling of sleepiness that people dread. And you can make your mind and it's a feeling, like you can choose to be angry about that. I personally believe, and I've experienced, that you can change your mindset about waking up. And I've done. I used to hate getting up. I used to sleep all the time. My mom thought something was wrong with me. She thought I had Negrolepsy. You know, she's just,
no.
I used to sleep. Then after a while, I think I tried it one day, and I looked up and I got up and I looked at myself. I said, dude, you look tired. I said, you don't look motivated. You don't look like you would lead like nobody would follow you anywhere right now. And after that, I started getting up. So now I'm a sunrise watcher. Sometimes I might get all pissed off, but I'm able to channel that to motivation. But that's actually a good one for me. And it starts your day off so amazingly. Mm-hmm. It puts it at an edge over other people.
Wow. Well, thank you for that tip to maybe say, I'll try that tonight before I go to bed and be like, I'm going to wake up motivated. I mean,
go to sleep.
I just wonder about that though, because I don't know, like, I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm kind of thinking out loud.
I have to create my dopamine. I understand what you're saying, sis, because I don't. I have to follow. It's the high five method. I don't know if any of you follow Mel Robbins. I just love her to death. But for me, especially when I'm on call, or sometimes you just have those days for whatever reason it is. But especially if I'm going or have those really, really hard days, and those extra challenging people that are just draining on the soul. You know, there's a different kind of tired where people just drain your soul, and it's not a physical tired, you know? So I just get up. I don't want to, I just do it. I just have to. There's no snooze, there's nothing. Mm-hmm. But I know that when I get up and I'm going about my normal routine, because part of my ADHD is I have everything already planned out, and I do the same thing every morning. I know once I get up, because I also don't create spaces of regret. So I go ahead and I do the things that I'm supposed to do, and I do the things that are on my agenda, so I don't have anything to feel bad about later. So I still get up, do what I'm supposed to do, and I know that by the time I finish my yoga or I have my coffee, that my dopamine is kicked in, and I know eventually I'm gonna feel better. So yeah, I might get up and I might be dragging around a little bit, or even my heart may be heavy, but I know that, as you say, that I am going to get better as the day goes on, because I know that after my meditation and after I do those dopamine elevating activities, that it's gonna get better. So no, I don't. My eyes don't pop open and I'm going, yes, I'm motivated. That's not it. I don't feel that way.
Yes.
But I know that it's coming because I want to feel better. But in that moment, I don't.
That's true.
I don't see it.
Yeah.
But I know that I've been there before, and I know that it's coming. But I know I have to go get it. I know that I have to get up and I have to bring it to me. Happiness is not going to break in my ankle and come after me. I have to meet it at the door. And because I know that and it helps if you know that there is something that excites you.
Yes.
Do that first.
Right.
Do that first to start your day off. And that's how you reward yourself. And then those things that are a little bit, that's probably the hardest, do that next. And then give yourself a break and do that next thing that you enjoy. And break your days up in those kinds of cycles. You're giving yourself those dopamine bursts throughout the day. So
that's a great. I was gonna say that's literally dope.
No.
I like that.
And also, I want to say this. That's a dope view out of Spence window over there. That's dope.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Right.
I was just telling him that.
Nice. Spence, I like that. Hey, listen, our time is right at about up, and next Sunday is Mother's Day, so we're going to be off next Sunday celebrating all the mothers, all the mothers, but God willing, we're going to return on the next Sunday. And I would just like to ask someone, those of us that are here, is there anyone that would like to lead our next session? I know that Dr. K, she brought up something that just kind of stuck in my head here about this. What did you call it? The high fives or something?
High five
method. The high five method. Mm-hmm.
Right. So, and again,
the high five method and the 5-second rule. Which one?
I think it was the high five method.
Twofold. So which one? Well, tell me what it is that resonated with you, and I'll tell you what it is.
The high five method. So that may be something that if you are interested in, it may not necessarily have to be the next Sunday, but just any Sunday. If I'm just throwing this out here for all of you, that if you feel led to share and to be a lead for our sofa chats, we are more than welcome. You are more than welcome, and we're more than happy to accommodate that. So if not this Sunday coming, which is Mother's Day, but the next Sunday, if there's something that you have in mind right now, the top of your mind right now that you would like to share, just kind of let me know.
I can't do it that next Sunday because my show is that day, and I can't guarantee that I'll be back from the station to be on time.
Okay.
I will definitely do it on a Sunday where I'm not doing my show because I can be on time.
Okay.
So just in case I'm at the station, I can't guarantee that I'll be on time if it falls on a Sunday where I do my show. But absolutely, I would definitely do a topic.
That would be great. And if you would just let me know so that we could promote it like big. Yeah. And then you could promote it on your channels and your platforms as well. Brother Spence, did you have your finger up as to say I want to lead one, or was my eyelash in the way and I didn't see it?
I'll do the one after Mother's Day, and I will, if it's okay with you, Doc, I will do 5 tips from the 5 a.m. club.
Okay.
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh, okay. I'm writing that down.
I go so far as to say I'm an expert at waking up early, so I can definitely give some. Anybody who wants to wake up earlier, I can totally just give you just little stuff people just don't think about. For example, don't eat after 8 o'clock. It is a lot easier to get up when you're hungry. Because our bodies are hardwired for that. Don't go to bed full. So the emptier your stomach is, the better. Just little stuff like, drink water before you go to bed. Because sometimes if you can't get up, your bladder will get you up. Little things, just little things. So,
well, I'm excited for that. And Sister Kim, don't feel obligated at all. If you would like to share, just let us know.
I think I'll have to think about what I could lead. I don't know now.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah.
No worries, because I lean on Brother Hatem. I throw him under the bus every chance I get, right in the middle of his drink. I'm like, Brother Hatem, he was about to say something. He's like, wait a minute, let me swallow. You guys, I have totally enjoyed this tonight. I'm so enthusiastic about what we are doing, the reach that we have. I'm confident, very, very confident that it's not just us 5 or 6 or 7 that are here tonight. I'm confident that so many people are going to hear our message and are going to want to kind of listen in. They're going to feel this movement that we have, however we put it into words. I feel that it's something. Brother Hatem, will you give us a concluding word?
All right. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Make sure that when you come to Sofa Chat, do like Dr. Kara say, make sure you got your little beverage.
Yes.
See Brother Spencer have your beverage. Make sure you're in a comfortable space. And we want to make sure that we want to thank you for joining us. We will be rebroadcasting this on we say Gye-Nyame Ujamaa, but for those that don't speak the language, it'll be Thursday at 7 p.m. If you want to go on and get the link, you go on and share it because it'll be popping up on Gye-Nyame Journey's Facebook till Dr. Jax get her stuff together. You know what I'm saying? She moving slow now.
Hitting people with garbage cans.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, you guys, I love you all. God willing, we'll see you the next Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to you. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Right.
Bye, guys.
Happy Mother's
Peace.
Day, ladies.
Happy Mother's Day, too.
Y'all be cool.
Thank you, Brother Hatem.
Hold on, let me end the stream. Boom, graphics.
Peace, family. Yo, thank you for joining us. Right? And I'm thrilled to announce the fact that we are now releasing our first free e-course. Come and learn about Gye-Nyame Journey. See some of the stuff we do. Come and join the tribe. Tribe up with us and check out the free e-course. And we'll make sure that the URL pop up right about here. And it'll probably be somewhere in here. Check us out, family, because we are building. Come and learn about Gye-Nyame Journey, and let's build together.